Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up on today's show, we're going to go through a Raiders 2025 UDFA tracker. If you don't know what a UDFA is, it is an undrafted free agent. The silver and black were allowed to go out and sign 15 UDFAs. John Spytek, Pete Carroll talked about this after the draft. As it stands right now, I have 14 of the Raiders UDFA signings, and also some of the players that the Raiders ended up inviting to camp, which is always going to be something fun that ends up going down. I think anybody can watch the NFL draft, but a real one wants to know who the Raiders ended up signing for a UDFA. If you're not watching this, you might not be a real one. If you are watching this, give me a real one down below. And a huge shout out to everybody that made our draft coverage possible. But if you're not subscribed, are we even, family? I think that we are. Let's go to the very first player coming up here, and it's going to be Jah Joyner, edge rusher from Minnesota. I'm going to give you a little bit of the ins and outs for each player and, kind of tell you how I think that they're going to ultimately fit. To me personally, this is the best UDFA signing that the Raiders had. We have him as a 5th and a 6th round grade. Love the length that he brings. 7 PBUs is awesome, which he had this past season. He is a better tackler, and he did get better and better. I think one of the things that does concern me is the amount of missed tackles that he did have. A 6.88 on the RAS score, has a really good motor, so he's going to go out there, he's going to give you it his all. Definitely a lot of straight line speed, has the traits to be a edge setter, can be a little bit better in the running game. Only 52 snaps at special teams, so I do think that this is somebody that is predominantly going to play on the outside. Needs to get a little bit stronger, needs to try to get some better bend. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but out of all of the UDFA signings that the Raiders have, I believe Jah Joyner might have the highest chance to make the 53-man roster. Let's go to Matt Jones here, linebacker from Baylor, and we have him as a UDFA grade, which is going to happen from time to time. Jones played for 6 years at Baylor and also played a total of 62 games, 113 tackles last season. There is a lot of production, 10 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. You love to see that. Overall, though, he had a total of 199 tackles, 12 sacks in his college career. Average athlete, but does have a lot of experience of playing some high-level football, and I think that this is one of those guys that you're going to be able to bring in and says, you know what, he's not going to check the boxes in terms of athletically gifted, but he's going to check the box of wanting a player that's going to go out there and going to compete at a high level. Let's go to Parker Clements here, offensive tackle from Virginia Tech. I don't know, Parker. I don't know what's going on with this facial hair, man, but there's a little part of me after I get married, I'm going to have the cojones to rock some facial hair like this guy right here. That's a dog, I'm telling you that. 6'6", 295 pounds. Needs to fill out a little bit better. A 60.9 PFF grade. Also, we had him ranked here with a UDFA grade as well. Clements played a lot of snaps over the last 4 seasons with the Hokies in 2024. Some people think that actually his best year that he had was in 2021. He did also play 830 snaps last season. So you're looking at a dude that he might have shitty facial hair, but he does have a lot of playing experience. But let's be honest. Parker Clements looks like your pledge that you had in college, and that's a guy that I'll go to battle for. I want to know down below, is going to be the pinned comment here on today's show. Who is your favorite UDFA signing that the Raiders have made? I want you to check out the thumbnail on this video. Those are the top 2 favorite players that I think that the Raiders signed in UDFA, but you're about to get into the YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, scroll on down and give me your answer to this question. Next name coming up here is going to be defensive tackle from Baylor, Trevon Ma'ae, and hopefully I pronounced that name right. This is somebody who does have a really good RAS score, good athlete. Ended up testing at 9.47 RAS. That is a very, very good athlete at 6'3", 277 pounds, 42 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks last season for the Baylor Bears. And because of that athletic ability, I do think that the Raiders, kind of an interesting draft overall. He's listed as a defensive tackle, but he's more of an edge defensive lineman tweener, which if you go back and you look at, somebody like Tonka Hemingway is also a little bit of a tweener, and I wonder if the Raiders were looking for a bunch of those tweener type of prospects. Let's go to another guy here, John Humphrey, cornerback from USC, and ties are everything to this organization. And the fact that he was a former UCLA corner, you're going to have some Chip Kelly ties in there on top of that. USC guy obviously played primarily on the boundary, 6'2", a little bit up there with the 193 pounds. A career 97.2 quarterback rating against, 3 interceptions, 11 PBUs in his career, along with 99 tackles and 2 forced fumbles. Now, last season he had 23, 1-4, but John Humphrey's got some coaching connections here with the silver and black. Let's go to a quarterback that the Raiders ended up signing as a UDFA, Hajj-Malik Williams. This is a character player right here. Comes in, really shitty situation UNLV was going through last year. They were ranked for the first time in a long time, 3-0. Quarterback wants more money. They said, no, we're not going to do that. 6-year senior, captain on his chest. Good athlete, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Going to come in and compete right away. Somebody with, along the lines of a Carter Bradley, I would say. He did initially transfer to UNLV and was a backup. Would you say, Chugs? Chug says maybe even a little bit of a position change, and I don't totally disagree with that. And, we've already seen the Raiders have shown you they wanted to go out and get a guy like Tommy Malot, who played college quarterback in the FCS level, but he's a good enough athlete where he's going to play wide receiver instead. Hajj-Malik Williams, I don't know what exactly is going to unfold here, but I like the idea of the Raiders adding some athletic quarterbacks, and that's what the Raiders really try to do in the draft and for UDFAs. Before we get into some more players coming up here in just a moment, huge shout out to our sponsor, Chubbies. And I can't guarantee that your legs are going to look as good as what mine do in Chubby shorts, but they might help out. I'm just telling you that right now. Chubbies offers a variety of high-quality men's apparel, from super stretchy shorts and swim trunks and 3 short inseam lengths to pants, polos, button-down shirts for when you need to hit up your favorite weekend brunch spot. Embrace the spirit of endless summer with Chubbies, the ultimate destination for bold, vibrant, outrageously comfortable clothing. With spring being here and summer right around the corner, the time to upgrade your wardrobe is now. So to sweeten the deal for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code. Use code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. I personally have been wearing Chubby stuff for a long time. I know a lot of my buddies like to wear it out on the golf course. And again, for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code. Use code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. Whether you're getting dressed for your workday, workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our viewers 20% off your order with our code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. That is code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. Support the show. Tell them that we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. All right, we're going to keep it rolling here. And again, if anybody wants to find that link, it's going to be down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. Let's go to Grady Vance, cornerback from USC. It's going to be the next player that the Raiders ended up signing. Smaller corner, 5'10", basically 180 pounds. Vance transferred to USC in the spring after spending the last 4 seasons with Louisville and Florida State. New Orleans native, and what's interesting is he's not the only New Orleans native. Jack Besh, who the Raiders drafted in the second round out of TCU, also a New Orleans native. He stepped in and contributed, I thought, right away to the defense. Appeared in 11 games, 6 starts. He's just, I don't want to say just, but he's going to be a nickel player. 29 tackles, 1 interception, 3 PBUs. Grady Vance Jr. is somebody to keep an eye on that they're going to use in slot for practice reps. Next guy, Shaun Dulac, linebacker from Buffalo, and this guy is a football player, dude. 168 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks. If you want to go watch some fun highlight tape, Dulac is that. Now, we actually had a 7th round grade on him here at Chat Sports, and a 3-year starter who went from a walk-on to an All-American over a 5-year span. Does a nice job of recovering from misdirection and finding his way to the football. Smart, scrappy dude. Is a core special teams player, and sometimes you need to be able to find those core special teams guys. Below average speed, height, length, size. He definitely lacks some of that athletic ability and agility, but the key word for a lot of UDFAs is compete. And I don't know how many guys are going to be able to compete with Shaun Dulac. Let's go to cornerback from Kansas, Mello Dotson. And this is another, I think, one of the players that probably the most notable name, along with Jah Joyner, that the Raiders were able to go out and they were able to sign. Dotson, cornerback from Kansas. We had a 7th round grade on him, so somebody that we thought was going to be able to go in the draft, or at least I did. 12 interceptions, 9 in the last 2 seasons, a bunch of PBUs at Kansas, Fluid and smooth in his transition, really good instincts, okay size, 4 career pick sixes. That is a Kansas record. An RAS score of 5.83, so not the best athlete. 236 special team snaps, none though as a gunner. High missed tackle rate, 19.7% last year, and a 19.1 career rate. Definitely some agility and speed concerns. But Mello Dotson, I do think is a sneaky corner that we got to be able to watch out for, especially in the springtime and especially in some of these preseason games. Next player coming up here is Jarrod Hufford, guard from Iowa State. And you look at Hufford, 2-time honorable mention, Big 12, 6'4", 322-pounder, big boy, 14 games played last season, 1 sack allowed, had a 65.2 PFF overall grade. Now, a 2-time, again, honorable mention, all Big 12 offensive lineman and offensive lineman of the year. Played in 55 career games, helping the team with a 45-32 record while reaching 2 Big 12 championship games. Started games in his career at left guard, 21, at center, 14, left tackle, 9, and at right guard, number 3. So when you think about that, okay, really interesting versatility. Big guy on the interior. The Raiders value versatility on that offensive line. If you're a real one and you watched all 21 hours of our draft coverage this week, we had over 400,000 people in the building. I want to know where y'all are at. We also ended up breaking down some Raiders draft grades. If you guys haven't seen that, it was a video that Chugs and I did late last night. We put out a lot of videos over the week, and I want y'all to go check all the videos out, breaking down what I thought about every single one of the Raiders 2025 draft picks. But if you want to know individually what I think of those players even more in depth, those videos are also out there on the channel. Also, a little bit of a spoiler alert. I just got a text. I might be able to get one of the Raiders draftees on the Raiders Report on Tuesday, so make sure you're subscribed. Let's go to next player here, and I don't know what Townsend's doing for a photographer. But Townsend, if y'all need a photographer, I can take some pictures next year. Carter Runyon, tight end from Townsend. Some people might view him as a big wide receiver or a small tight end. He's 6'4", 243 pounds, had 45 grabs, 502 yards, 5 touchdowns last season. We had a UDFA grade on him. Solid traits to work with, including wingspan and hand size. Good takeoff speed in this route and up the seam. Able to make challenging catches and compete at the high point. Pretty good acceleration into contact as a move blocker. Let's go to the next player here, Hudson Clark, safety from Arkansas. And one of the very common things you're seeing time and time again here with Pete Carroll and Spytek are captains. And you got another captain here from Dallas, Texas. I'm going to try to get him on the show. 37 tackles, 1 interception, 6 PBUs. My guy Trizzy Trace, you guys have seen him on the show a few times, said that his brother or family, somebody went up against him, or I think Trace went up against him. I say Chuck said he also covered him in high school. But team captain, 37 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, forced fumble, interception. Really good special teams player, a 7.75 RAS score overall. He played 485 snaps at strong safety, 365 at free safety, 507 at nickel corner, and then 1,482 snaps at corner. A lot of versatility on the back end, but I think for Hudson Clark, if he wants to make this roster, he's got to show up and show out on special teams. Let's go to the next player here, Pat Conroy, listed as a tight end. He's also been listed as a fullback. So I think what you're seeing here for the Raiders is a super athletic player that they might try to use in a multitude of ways. The name that I want you to think about, Alec Ingold. And I only say that because Pat Conroy has some of that Alec Ingold athletic ability. 37 catches, 523 yards, 5 touchdowns. But again, you're looking at a player, listen to this RAS score, 9.98 RAS score. That is an unbelievable athlete, but also has been primarily used as a blocking tight end. The Raiders are going to play a brand of FU football, and I wonder if Pat Conroy is going to be able to help us do that. Let's go to the final player that I have here in terms of the Raiders UDFA signings. Again, they can still sign technically they can sign 2 more players, but it sounded like Spytek had 15 in mind. Tom has them ranked, and anytime Tom has a player ranked, that means that they're a little bit higher on our board. We have him as a 7th potential UDFA grade overall. Look at him as like a safety linebacker prospect, 7.81 RAS score. He also ran a 4.4 40-yard dash, career of 206 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 5 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 17 PBUs, 6 forced fumbles in 33 career games, allowed a 68.2 QBR in coverage, and just 2 touchdowns. I'm telling you this right now. Jaylen Walker, linebacker from Indiana, a really intriguing prospect. I know he played in the Big Ten, but this seems like, to me, one of the guys that I'm sure Chip Kelly saw this past year and said, this is a good football player, and I want to get this guy on my roster. So here's what I want you to do. Get those red pens out, and I want you to grade the Raiders UDFAs. My voice right now is not great, but that's sometimes what's going to happen. But we're going to keep on pushing through because that's what that Raider mentality is. You keep pushing through. A, B, C, D, or F. To me, I look at these Raiders UDFAs, and I'm going to give it a solid B grade. I think that we had 2 or 3 players that I thought could potentially get drafted, but then again, a lot of high-character players and a lot of dudes that are going to go out there, and they're going to try to compete to live their dream, and that's all you can ask for from a UDFA staying. Before I get out of here, some Raiders camp invites, and there might be more. I was only able to confirm 5 of the camp invites for the Raiders. Can be Goff, safety, Air Force. I wonder if there's some Trey Taylor ties in there. Bless Harris. With a name like this, I'm hoping Bless ends up making this squad. 6'5", 326-pounder. Big boy, 13 games played, 64.4 PFF grade for TCU offensive lineman. Josh Carlin, if I need my taxes done, I know exactly who I'm going to. 6'5", 310-pounder, another big guy on the interior. Had some coaching connections to Chip Kelly, offensive lineman from UCLA, a 59.9 PFF grade. Tom Callahan, 12 games played, 6'3", 235-pounder, long snapper. And the reason why I always like this type of stuff is because you got to think about the extra level. And the reason why I hope people watch this show is because I know this, that our long snapper, Jacob Bobenmoyer, is in the final year of his contract. So, Tom Callahan, Bobenmoyer, if you're trying to save $500,000, I don't know exactly what it's going to be. Maybe that's a route that this team decides to go with. And then the final name, Callahan Griffin, near us, Tyler Texas, what do you say? What's that? Kalen Griffin. Christ, Mitch, get it together. Liberty football, 218 carries, 1,158 yards, 7 touchdowns. Texas football obviously is very, very great. But I've actually had the opportunity to watch Liberty play a few times. My cousin, he played at Lafayette, and watching the schools. And I know kids that go up there, like kids from down here that go up there, are really good football players. But the number one note that I saw on him, going to run through a mother effer's face. If you like Sincere McCormick, I think Griffin is a lot like Sincere McCormick type of style of a runner. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. Again, hit me up on IG. Hit me up on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. UDFAs have a chance to make the Raiders 53-man roster. I believe every year that I've done this show, at least one UDFA has made the squad. Got to go out there and you got to compete. Wear that jersey with a lot of pride. Can't wait for the spring. Good luck to all the UDFAs for making the squad.